Hi everyone. Here we are, another week in 2025. Can't believe time coming and happening. Wanted to hop in for Queer Church. We're now in Pisces season. Been talking to a lot of folks about the rhythms of this year and just thinking about how we started with like headstrong Capricorn, and then we've been in like systems and thinking Aquarius season, and now we really are in this time of Pisces, of feeling, of flow, of a little bit more amorphous when it comes to timing. And if there's any spaciousness for yourself around relaxing those edges, about putting our calendars away, about putting our phones down, outside of this, of course, and just being able to lean in. This week really invites us into some feels. We are not only in Pisces season, but we're also flowing into a new moon in Pisces that's coming on Thursday. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later. I just want to give that kind of context for this week. So I'm going to start with a reading. Today I'm going to do Pocket Pema Chodron. This little book has been a sacred text to me for a while. I love that it's like so small and easy that you can kind of I've actually never read it cover to cover. I've always just used it, I guess, like similar to card pulling, where you're like, okay, what's the reading that I need? And this moment, before I understood my rituals and practices as rituals and practices, this is one that I had. I was talking recently to someone about the phases in my book: healing, reframing, and reclaiming your spiritual practice. Yes, Pillow and Supervision. And so just thinking about the reframing phase, just all the little rituals that I have had that I was using and practicing without really naming that. And I grew up Catholic. I grew up going to church, and when you went to church, that's when you were doing ritual, and when you left, you were, maybe it almost felt like doing your homework, like doing your assignments, doing your prayers at night, your prayers before meals, your, whatever penance, like whatever rituals and holidays were part of it. But there was that system. And when I came out and I left the church, I didn't know what that system was, and didn't realize how I was recreating it in all the ways. So all to say, just for a moment for you, maybe think a little bit about and invite you in this dreamy time of Pisces and feels to consider for yourself. What is a way that you are engaging in ritual, that you are building your own spiritual practice? What's been feeling good? It's really difficult right now to find the things that feel good, to lean into that, to have hope. And yet we need it so much right now, more than ever. We need each other. We need to love on each other. And we need the rituals and practices that are going to be there for us at this time, right? When things are tricky. So before I do the reading, maybe just take a moment, ground yourself, just feel support, maybe in your chair, maybe lay down if you haven't laid down all day. Take a couple breaths and just feel, and let your mind wander for a moment about what's been lighting you up. What's a non-Gregorian calendar that you've been wondering about or ritualizing or considering? What is a practice you have that maybe didn't feel spiritual, but now if you think about it, that is spiritual? And that can be a bedtime routine. That can be a shower, that when you're showering, you're also thinking cleanse, clear, let go. Oh, so I'm seeing just someone's been using rosary beads with your own repetitive prayers. Ooh, and holding a crystal to bring in energy. Amazing. For folks who came to the crystal swap, I've been really getting into crystals and like thinking about, well, not getting into, but really been reincorporating and highlighting crystals as a practice. And the way is that as an energy worker, I'm energy worker, Reiki practitioner, crystals all around. I'm like, wait, why am I doing all of this energy work myself when I can have these beautiful helpers that are already naturally emitting this energy and supporting with the energy work that I'm trying to do for myself and for community and to spread out. So I love the idea of kind of holding crystals and bringing that into prayer, bringing that into our meditation practice, or I call them external supports, the things that are bigger than ourselves. And love rosary. There's some really cool writings about like femme practices in rosaries, and the ways of them being sort of like femme divine in their circular nature, and so much, so much. So let's do it together. Go ahead and just breathe and relax and let whatever happened earlier melt away, and maybe envelope yourself in a little bit of gratitude for carving out this time, and allow yourself to just be read to just let whatever is said wash over your mind's eye, wash over you, and whatever sticks, whatever floats away, floats away. Take a couple of breaths. What do we need to hear? The journey goes down, not up. Spiritual awakening is frequently described as a journey to the top of a mountain. We leave our attachments and our worldliness behind and slowly make our way up to the top. At the peak, we have transcended all pain. The only problem with this metaphor is that we leave all the others behind. Our drunken brother, our schizophrenic sister, our tormented animals and friends. Their suffering continues, unrelieved by our personal escape. In the process of discovering bodhicitta, the journey goes down, not up. It's as if the mountains pointed towards the center of the earth instead of reaching into the sky. Instead of transcending the suffering of all creatures, we move towards the turbulence and doubt. We jump into it. We slide into it. We tiptoe into it. We move forward however we can. We explore the reality and unpredictability of insecurity and pain, and we try not to push it away. If it takes years, if it takes lifetimes, we let it be as it is. At our own pace, without speed or aggression, we move down and down and down. With us, we move millions of others. With us move millions of others, our companions in awakening from fear. At the bottom, we discover water, the healing water of bodhicitta. Right down there in the thick of things, we discover the love that will not die. So that's a Pema Chodron reading, bringing a little Buddhist philosophy into this moment. Very applicable to the times. It would be very easy to move away from pain right now. It would be very easy to say, I'm just going to go over here in my spiritual pursuits, in my comfort, in my distraction, in my whatever. And there's an offering here. I love it. It says, we slide into it, very Pisces season. But what does it mean for you to be present, to use spiritual practices or whatever it is you're hoping to gain from engaging with House of Art Queer and Queer Church, to go closer, to be more present with what is happening right now, and not in a reactionary way. Not that we're going to reshare these headlines, not that we need to necessarily in this exact moment take to the streets, but also we're not pushing away, that we are present with what is happening, we are present with the pain, and we are sliding into it in order to transform ourselves, transform our community, transform out bigger and bigger and bigger. So this week, especially with the new moon in Pisces, there's some opportunity for that. It arrives February 27th, 444 in Pacific time, which is like so fun. Pisces is a dreamer. Pisces might be a little into the delusions, but it helps us to create, to dream, to reimagine. We need that right now. We need all of us dreaming something outside of this reality and imagining what if, what's next. So there's, especially because after that, after we move into eclipse season, not manifesting time for the big shifts, and we let them happen. I'll be talking a lot more about that in as eclipse season comes up. But knowing this is sort of like the last moon in a minute to kind of ritualize with, it is new moon. We will have a dark moon Wednesday night, this opportunity to let go and release and shed. If you've been holding things stacked up in your nervous system, if you're boggled with your mind's eye of everything we're seeing and everything we're present with, this is a great week to let some of that go. And especially because Pisces is water and heart and vulnerability, are there blocks between you and the vulnerability that you want to have? And I get it too. This is a difficult time. There's a desire, there can be a desire to put up our walls to protect ourselves as we're trying to protect our community. And Pisces kind of invites us the opposite in this reading as well, invites us to shed, let go of defenses, let go and just feel. And in that feeling, to be able to create, dream, envision what's next. Where can we wake up after the eclipse season? Who knows? There's a couple things. There's a lot going on with this new moon. But I think the thing I really want to lean on for Queer Church and for this offering is just the idea that of all the moons we could have, we have a Pisces moon. Pisces isn't like, here's the plan. We've been very much, like I said, in head and grounding of, since 2025 started, let's go. What's the plan? What's the top down? What's the system? And this is a moment to be in the amorphous water, to be the fish swimming around and kind of catching their tails and coming back up. And in that movement, in that spaciousness, there's play, and there's like almost this invitation of like moving towards our dreams instead of, okay, well, here's the plan and here's the system, to move towards our dreams by relaxing into them, by resting and letting go into them. What might that look like for you? How could you, especially this week and on Thursday especially, play, feel, swim around in that, as you are reimagining, maybe even reimagining your goals, reimagining your passion, reimagining how you work towards them. There's a lot of potential this week to start fresh. That's my invitation. We're going to do a little bit of pulling to get one last message from Melanated Tarot card. Of course, the moon's here at the bottom. Melanated Tarot here. Yeah, we'll get our final one. So, of course, for you also, take a few while we're together. Final nourishing breaths. Sunning yourself with some final gratitude for carving out a little time for yourself to think about these bigger things, to place ourselves with the transits above in the cosmos, to feel if there's a part of you that is holding tight, 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 resisting against the idea of feeling this week with a fear of falling apart. I encourage you to release that with the dark moon. Let yourself fall apart this week. Whatever you can let go of, that's going to help with whatever transits need to happen during eclipse season. Trust yourself to fall apart and to be able to come back together. And yeah, we'll ask one more message. Oh, so sweet. So we've got the lovers here, precious. Fun fact, I love like talking about Christian roots, and then like tarot, we're like, oh, they're so different. Here we're on witchy new age, and then this is, ritual and dogma. But in the lovers card, it's actually Adam and Eve in the traditional deck, kind of leaving the Garden of Eden, like being those lovers for each other. And yeah, and it's such a trip to have that be. But there's so many different depictions. I've seen the lovers in the Next World Tarot. It's like a person looking in a reflection of themselves. Like there's so many things, but this really, I'm sitting here daring to say, let's feel at a time that feels that can seem counterintuitive. And the cards are saying, here's a major moment of connection. Who can you connect with? How can you love on yourself this week? How can you invite love in for your community, for partners, for platonic besties, for anyone, anything, that we bring this powerful love vibration energy. There's also some really cool transits around Venus happening this week that I think is related to this. If you're an astro nerd, you know what I'm talking about. But the lovers this week, how can you in this moment find the vibration of that love for yourself, for others? So that's the final offering. If you're in San Francisco or Bay Area, I'm doing a moon meet tomorrow night in SF. We'll dig deeper into new moon in Pisces and all the things it means. So yes, amazing. Thank y'all so much for being here, and yeah, sending you so much joy and hoping you can swim through this week.